I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you okay?
She saved a homeless man, not knowing he once saved her life. They say kindness comes back in circles, but Charlotte never imagined the circle would return with a storm. Charlotte Reed, 32, calm-faced, brown-haired, a woman who had learned to smile through the weight of the world, walked down Willow Street, juggling too many grocery bags and too many worries. Life had not been kind lately. Her mother was bedridden, the bills were climbing, and her job at the diner was hanging by a thread. But still, she tried to stay kind. She always tried. That evening, as the wind blew cold and sharp, Charlotte noticed a man sitting by the bus stop bench. His clothes were torn, his beard long, his face pale from hunger. Most people walked past him, pretending not to see. But Charlotte stopped. Something tugged inside her chest, an old familiar ache she couldn't explain. "Sir?" she whispered. "Are you okay?" The man looked up slowly. His eyes were tired, but there was something in them. Depth, pain, and strangely, recognition. "I haven't eaten today," he murmured. His voice was hoarse. "Didn't want to bother anyone." Charlotte's heart cracked. She handed him one of her grocery bags before even thinking. "Here, please. There's bread, fruit, and water." The man hesitated. Then tears filled his eyes. "You're too kind," he whispered. But Charlotte shook her head. "No, I'm just doing what I hoped someone would do for me." She didn't know that sentence would return later, like a haunting echo. The next day, Charlotte saw him again at the same spot. This time, he was shivering violently. The temperature had dropped overnight. "Come with me," she said without thinking. "There's an abandoned shed behind my apartment building. It's warmer there. I can bring blankets." His eyes widened. "No, people will judge you. You don't even know me." Charlotte smiled softly. "I don't help people because I know them. I help because I understand what suffering feels like." And then she added, with a shaky breath, "I was once helped by a stranger too." The man's lips parted, as if he wanted to say something, but he didn't. He followed her. Charlotte prepared a small corner for him. Blankets, a pillow, a thermos of soup. And for the first time in years, he slept safely. By the third day, everything exploded. Charlotte came home to angry voices near the shed. "You brought a homeless man here? He's dangerous. What if something happens to our children? We'll call the landlord." Charlotte's heart raced as the crowd pushed toward the shed. "Stop!" she shouted. Her voice trembled. "He's a human being. He's freezing out there. He hurt no one." But the neighbors were fueled by fear, gossip, and their own hidden cruelty. One of the men spat on the ground. "You bring him here again, Charlotte, and we'll make sure you're evicted." Evicted. That word stabbed through her chest. Her mother, her home, everything. The homeless man stepped out, raising his hands gently. "It's okay," he said softly. "I don't want trouble. I'll go." "No," Charlotte whispered. "You don't deserve this." He gave her a long, deep look, one filled with a strange mixture of sadness and responsibility. Then he walked away into the cold, and Charlotte broke down crying. For 2 days, she couldn't find him. She searched every alley, every bench, every bus stop. Nothing. Until the third night, when she saw ambulance lights flashing near the old train station. Her heart sank. She ran. There he was, lying on the cold ground, barely conscious, frostbite on his hands. Paramedics were lifting him onto a stretcher. Charlotte grabbed his hand. "No, no, stay with me, please." His eyes fluttered open, and then he whispered words that made her freeze, her soul trembling, her breath trapped in her throat. "Charlotte Reed, I didn't think I'd ever see you again." She blinked, stunned. How do you know my name?" But he passed out before he could answer. At the hospital, doctors stabilized him. Charlotte refused to leave. She sat by his bed, holding his hand all night. When he finally woke, he stared at her with emotions so heavy it silenced the room. "My name is Andrew Mason," he began. "I used to be a firefighter." Charlotte gasped. The name sounded familiar, too familiar. Andrew continued, voice shaking. 10 years ago, there was an apartment fire on Rose Street. A young girl was trapped on the 3rd floor. I carried her out through the smoke. She held onto my neck, crying, begging me not to leave her mother behind. Charlotte felt her pulse stop. That girl was you. Her hands trembled uncontrollably. "But they told me," Charlotte whispered, "they told me the firefighter who saved me died in another rescue a month later." Andrew smiled sadly. "I didn't die. I was injured. Badly. Couldn't work again. Lost my home. Lost everything. One mistake after another, and I ended up here." Tears spilled down Charlotte's cheeks. "You saved my life years ago, and now I abandon you to the cold because of my neighbors?" Andrew squeezed her hand weakly. "No," he whispered. "You saved me again. Without your food and shelter, I would have died long before this." The circle had closed. Kindness returned. Waited. Complete. 2 days later, Charlotte received a call from the hospital. Andrew had asked to see her. But when she arrived, several of her neighbors were already there. Confused, she walked into the room. Andrew looked up, his eyes steady. "I asked them to come." The neighbors shifted uncomfortably. Andrew looked at them with quiet strength. "You judged me because I was poor, but many years ago I risked my life to save one of you. And this woman, Charlotte, she saved me now, when no one else would." Silence. Guilt swept through the room like a storm. The loudest man, who once threatened to evict Charlotte, stepped forward, shame burning in his eyes. How can we help?" he whispered. Andrew's smile trembled. "I don't need pity. I just need a chance." And unexpectedly, kindness bloomed. They arranged temporary housing for him, a job at the local community center, support, care, dignity. Charlotte watched all of it with tears streaming down her cheeks because she knew kindness was contagious. And sometimes one act of love can fix a whole community. And so, on the day Charlotte thought she lost everything, she gained something far more powerful, a reminder that kindness never disappears. It circles back, stronger, deeper, and more beautiful than before. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please stay with us for more heart-touching moments, more healing, and more stories that remind us of the goodness in humanity. You are loved. You are valued. And your kindness, it matters.